So I just want to, first of all, say how honored I am to be here. COP28, International Atomic Energy Agency, the Atoms for Climate Pavilion. This is all such an honor, and I'm so happy to share my project with you all, and I'm so happy to share some progress on that project with you all, and I'm so happy to just bring some enthusiasm via my industry to climate and to nuclear, and to just really applaud the efforts of everyone working in the nuclear space to drive nuclear forward and really be that solution. So I just want to get started with the UN SDGs. That is really the foundation of everything that I do in this space. And I was first exposed to them in Switzerland during my master's program. And so the one that really sticks out, especially at the moment, is Goal 17, and that is partnerships to achieve the goals. So I've spoke before publicly quite in depth about how it is so incredible that we have a consolidated list of 17 targets to focus on that could really change and save the world. Right, but partnerships is so important because to me, the idea of multilateralism is one of the key factors in really driving a lot of the progress to actually deploy nuclear forward. Right, so I'm an industrialist at heart. I still work in the industry. I started working in the industry. I love the scale and magnitude of making things. I love factories. I love production. I'm very much an industrialist at heart. But that diverges a little bit from what it means to care about the planet and what it means to preserve the planet and what it means to be sustainable. But as this industrialist, I think it is incumbent upon us to acknowledge the fact that as economic activity increases, as economic dynamism increases, so in step does energy use. So going forward, our energy use as a global group of people is not declining, it is increasing. And that's not necessarily a bad thing as long as that energy is carbon free. So, interstage left, nuclear. So I first started my project just because I saw this convergence of fashion manufacturing, which is my background and expertise and professional experience, with this newfound understanding of advanced fission technologies. So I just want to walk you through quickly a few of the initiatives that I'm working on and some of the progress. And again, I hope to galvanize not only everyone in this room, not only everyone at this conference, not only everyone that cares about climate, but everyone in the world that participates in fashion, which is all of us because we all have on clothes. I really want to galvanize all of us to understand the impact of this initiative. So to kind of give the problem a scope. It's not something that's indomitable, but it's something that is of quite great magnitude. This climate crisis is one that is not going to be solved overnight, but the good news is that the size of the problem is not bigger than the size of all of our collective initiatives and efforts to solve that problem. Right, so in the apparel industry, in the footwear industry, there's over 1.7 billion tons of carbon emitted annually. In fact, 8 to 10% of all carbon emissions globally come from the manufacture of footwear and apparel. So that's quite a large number for just one group of companies, one industry. So I felt it incumbent upon me to really just show leadership and provide what I think is the solution to solve manufacturing in the fashion industry. So with the first initiative I'll walk you through, it's about really changing the perspective and changing the overall perception of nuclear energy in the minds of the public. Because as the regulatory frameworks progress to a point where we can deploy our nuclear technology around the world, also the public's perception has to evolve at the exact same pace. Those two things are both required to deploy nuclear at such a scale that it can make a difference. So the first of these initiatives, and I've talked about these before, but I think it's important in this forum that I explain just a little bit further. So the first, it's an initiative called Shaping the Message, and it's basically allowing the most important voices in the nuclear industry to align on what our outward-facing message to the general public should be. The second of my initiatives is a Jeffersonian-style, salon-style industry meetup. So I'm bringing together stakeholders, decision makers from the nuclear industry as well as from the fashion industry so we can have an informal requirements analysis so that both divergent fields can come together and have a conversation about what the other side needs and begin to scope out the scale of those solutions. The third is a pop-up museum that I'm unveiling at fashion weeks around the globe: New York, Paris, Milan, London. Any global city that has a fashion week will, in my view, in my dream world, be a host to one of my pop-up museums where nuclear reactor technologies can be showcased and nuclear reactor companies can really showcase their latest advanced fission technologies and solutions. So that's the project side. I've got two other global projects that are working on the deployment of micronuclear reactors. The first is in Turkey, in northwestern Erdine. It's a new facility that's being built there, and it's my goal for them to utilize nuclear power for all of the operations that take place at this new world-class fashion facility. The next is in Nepal. I spent a lot of time in Nepal in the past, and I've kind of gushed about what a beautiful place it is and how I think we should preserve the terroir and how just the perspective of the people there is also a guiding light for a sustainable attitude. But in those upper mountainous regions of the Himalayas, there is no energy grid, but there's so many people that live there that deserve electricity. So it makes an off-grid micro-nuclear reactor solution perfect to lift those people out of energy poverty, but also to power their world-class sub-12 micron Kashmir factories. So there's another thing that's coming as well, and I just wanted to shine a little bit of a light on my first nuclear-powered fashion carbon offset. So that is enabling a mechanism to help to finance these deployments of all these reactors around the world. So to kind of close and wrap all of this up and put like kind of a bow on everything that I've thrown at you so far, I just want to talk about how important it is to understand fashion as an on-ramp for nuclear power. It is not exactly an easy technology to understand, and I know firsthand because I am approaching it from somewhat of a pedestrian. I don't have a PhD in nuclear fission or reactor technologies, but I feel like I understand it enough to utilize it as what I would consider a silver bullet panacea solution to our climate problems. So again, I just want to close with the notion that this is such a democratic issue and everyone can participate. And this is something that you'll hear much more from me about in the coming times. Thank you so much for your attention. And this is an awesome conference. And let's really galvanize and keep this momentum going.